Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. In the last episode, we went over to Phenomenon, which is part of the Studium, got a little bit of an introduction to Phenomenon, and met up with Scarlark Monteshane, and asked him if he can tell us anything about this great duty that the Forum of Sharlayan has, and he said, well, no. And not because he necessarily didn't want to, it's because he, well, can't. Because all the members of the Forum are under an enchantment that prevents them from speaking about it. Then he gave us a delightful lecture on the soul, the memory, how all that stuff works aetherologically, and how the enchantment that they're under basically functions. So, that was interesting. And then after that, we went to go meet with the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea, specifically in Morovib, Kanisena, and Nanamo. And they let us know that the decision has been reached to send a force into Garlemald, following Ystola's suggestion that we take the fight directly to the Tolofaroi in their base of operations, rather than dealing with all of these towers, which are most likely a distraction. So that is what we're doing. They formed the Ilsabard Contingent to do just that, and we are to join said Ilsabard Contingent. So that is why we are over here in Alamigo, getting ready to join up with this force going to Garlemald. And I think for the time being, until I hit level 83, I'm going to stick with Machinist. Once I do hit level 83 on Machinist, we'll switch over to Paladin for the foreseeable future. But let's go ahead and start chatting with everybody, and let's see what they have to say, and then I guess we'll meet the Ilsabard contingent. How do you say? You know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Ilsabard contingent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a friendly wager? Alphino. I'll admit, this is all rather daunting, though not quite in the way I was expecting. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our alliance's finest, the best of the best, the Warrior of Light, and, well, me. It's silly, I know. Perhaps this is my way of distracting myself from the part I should be worried about, marching into Garlemald. Alright, Graha. I must quiz Thancred and Eorzea on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. It may be a good idea. I mean, I don't really know what we're walking into, but yeah. Oh, fancy meeting you here. I trust our mutual friend is settling into life as a scion. Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go like a Gaelicat swept up in a strong breeze. But rest assured, he will always be there when you need him. Probably. And what do you have to say to that, Estinian? If Emmerich asks after me, say I'm getting on fine and leave it at that. Don't you dare breathe a word about the cord. Oh, yes. The ridiculously expensive piece of thread that he ordered to tie his hair up. Alright, anybody else here to talk to? No, looks like that's it. Alright, Raubon. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy, bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding skills of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. I can imagine. Can't please them all. Sadly not, though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I battle as my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Ah, Gaius. Been a while. Much has occurred since we parted ways in Werlet. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us? Apparently not. Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Talafroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were to travel with the Ilsabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. Alright. I'll doubt they'll be pleased to see the champion of Eorzea set foot on Garlean's soil. A fair point. But so long as you refrain from announcing your arrival to all and sundry, the average person should have no inkling as to your identity. Although your titles and deeds are common knowledge, only a select few would recognize you on sight alone. Fair enough. Perhaps one day they will learn that the Warrior of Light is not a demon to be feared, but a woman deserving of their trust. We can hope. In light of Gaius' rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Alright. Level 82, I level 525 gear, which we don't need. Alright, good. Does everybody have new things to say, Raban? Once you've seen the contingent on its way, I'll return to my duties here in Alamigo. As many of our most capable will be traveling with you to Garlemald, we who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up the difference. But let no man say I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horns yet. Shall I say? I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. Alphino. The knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsabardian front. Right? Graha. That's Gaius Baelsar, the horrors he must have seen, many of his own making, I do not doubt. Yep. And Estinian, like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varus' murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. And Emmerich. I neglected to mention earlier that we received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with the Lunar Primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. This worm, as described, was a spitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Talafroi. So she is still kicking around. Alright, good. Alright, Maxima, let's go see the contingent. The other members of the Ilsabard contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you're ready. And I believe we are ready. The remaining members of the Scions, your friends, and most of the Ilsabard contingent await you within. Would you like me to see you through? Yes.
By the 12.
Well, that's a force of soldiers. Hey, Sickard.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
See ya.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention. Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must, I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation, here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Wait, I know you.
Yeah, Sickard.
The name's Sickard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughingstock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
Good on you.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
Right, I believe that both the blacksmith and armorsmith guilds are in Limsa.
Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya? The Avatar of Destruction?
They blabbed.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead.
I'm sure it will.
Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilsabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Amonelane.
Lord Amonelane?
Ah, yes. Emmanuelaine de Forton, at your service.
I think this is the first time he's been voiced.
Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
All right, Amonelane, you go to the front. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom. Dripping with sarcasm.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Well, it is a long way.
Would that be the Shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
And right on cue, Sadu.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as the steppe is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
I'm sure there'll be plenty of automated Magitech weapons that Sadu can more than happily blow up.
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Yep. And you meet the Bosnian Resistance as part of the Relic quest series, which I didn't do on screen.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Gaius bloody Baelsar himself is working to help rebuild Wurlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey.
Yes, trying to cross a frozen mountain range would be a bad idea. On foot.
However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Alright then. So a lot of these characters are from the various class quest lines. A lot of them I actually haven't done on this character. Though, we have Stefanovian over here, who's part of the Machinist quest line, which I didn't do on screen either. We'll talk to him just the same. If it isn't Diame, 'tis thanks in no small part to you that the manufactory's future is looking brighter than ever, my friend. I am pleased to report that I and a handful of my colleagues have been selected to join the contingent. Ere the expedition has ended, even the Temple Knights will be singing our machinists' praises, once they have borne witness to not only our mechanical proficiency, but our combat prowess too, of course. Alright, we have Monolane. Oh well, if I'd known what a social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, this seems to be the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. Would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Sirena and Sadu of the Steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't much like the look of that fellow with the enormous axe. Yes, go introduce yourself to Sadu. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to make your acquaintance. Alright, Maxima. I cast my lot with the populares to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories, and that all may be united in common cause. But we were disparaged as a radical element, dissenters looking to destabilize the Empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in unfortunate accidents. I, too, would surely have met the same fate had I not defected. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day that dream will become reality. Alright. I think this character is from the Pugilist quests. These guys are from the Thaumaturge quests, I think. Bonebar? Marauder, probably? But we'll talk about these first. It seems so long ago we were sailing across the Ruby Sea and charging about the Azim Steppe with Sirena and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. Brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together. Good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will mostly be the latter, but I'd like to believe we'll look back on these days more fondly in the years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Don't you die on me, aye? Likewise. Lucia? I've led troops into battle many a time, but never a unit with such a diverse range of talents. While I've been briefed on their capabilities, I expect you can provide additional insight into their strengths and weaknesses. I'd appreciate any advice you may have. Certainly. And excellent choice for commander of the effort. Pippin? Often has Father told me of the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of the occupation, and I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, her grace has elected to bolster the Ilsabard contingent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representative of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. Good. Brunbar. I'm here representing the Marauders Guild, and it's my job to keep the Smiths out of harm's way. Mind you, with them hammers of theirs, they can put up a fair fight of themselves. With a bit of luck, this will be over and done with before you know it. Maybe when this is all over, you could pay the Axemaster a visit. He still tells all the new recruits about the time you killed Kujata and avenged that boy's parents. Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. Yep. I still have all... I have to level that up a bit, but we'll get there. Alright, Sickard. Until the Empire fell, Garlands are the only ones we was allowed to impose tariffs upon at sea. Weren't easy pickings, but I made myself a pretty gill. Since they've been so generous to me and mine, perhaps it's time I returned the favor and gave a little something back. Interesting perspective. Alka Zolka. This character is from the Sage not Sage, Scholar quests, which I also have done on this character, though not on screen again. Just leveling up other jobs that might be useful in the future. Alright, what do you have to say? Greetings, Yame. The time has come for us Marines to show our valor upon the battlefield. All who see us will know our name and quake before our might. To victory, come hells or high water. Indeed. Alright, Arun Senna. With so many people from so many places, I'm rather out of my element. Regardless, I am a seed seer and will endeavor to equip myself accordingly. Good. He's from the White Mage quests. Estidian. Actually, we'll wait to go with the Scions until we talk to everybody else. Magni. Hello, little son. With the Mole, champions of the Nodum, and the Doltharl having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the steppe in their absence. And I would have done so, were it not for my stepbrothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might, that his radiance may deliver them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Doltharl dog, first amongst my brothers, I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. Or so you think. Alright. Sadu. I care not for the Iron Men or their troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteer to join this band at Cyrna's request, and if she thinks it a worthy cause, that is a reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the steppes oafish men could dream to be. Is that a ship setting sail I see? Alright. I'm glad to see you well, Ayame. Grandmother was worried for you. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Closer they circled. Closer and closer, and as they danced, the world fell to ruin. In blinding chaos, she spied blackened silhouettes and knew at once that one was yours. Yet we knew not how to interpret this dream, save as a sign that a great danger awaits. But whatever lies ahead, I'll walk with you, traveler. Alright, cool. Rostic is from the Relic quests. Allow me to express my deepest gratitude for your role in liberating Eorzea. Me and my countrymen owe you more than we could ever hope to repay. Now that our dream has finally been realized, Biosalian, I have no idea how to actually say that guy's name, has seen fit to send a few of us to join this expeditionary force. I hope our skills will be of use. I'm sure they will. Alright, let's start working our way through the Scions. Thancred. I have close ties to the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups, and they're an absolute joy to work with. Good. Ariange. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies our journey's course. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances who in time shall we come to call our comrades and mayhap friends. And Alice? I was half expecting to find the man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he's nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had his share of unpleasant experiences with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there is some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling I'll see him again once this is all over. I'm sure he'll be pleasantly surprised by how much my swordplay has improved since we last met. I wonder if that's the same guy that teaches you red magic if you unlock Red Mage. Probably. Alright, Alphino. We've been part of joint military operations like this before, and with far greater numbers, but for some reason this feels very different from our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there is already a palpable sense of camaraderie. Alright, Graha. This is extraordinary. Be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer. With comrades such as these, we are bound to succeed. I'm certain of it. Estinian. So, Lucia is in command. Regardless of her background, she is a temple knight through and through. I dare say her Garlean roots are all the more reason for her to lead this mission. Indeed, she's familiar with both, fighting in cold and snow as a Garlean and an Ishgardian both. I think that guy over there is the guy from the Dragoon quests. He's also a former Azure Dragoon. So there's 2 of them here. Alright. And so all we have left to talk to is Y'shtola. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climate of Ilsabard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? Alright. Since we already talked to everybody, let's just hand out the scales. Tyrna? We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Good. Oh, the talismans. We are to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces theirs. And before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Doma, like much of Authard, has been plagued by the towers. Yet while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Yugiri label without rest to unite the people, and with their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. Alright. Who's next? Arun Senna. Yes? Here you go. These are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. Under normal circumstances, I would not be allowed to travel outside of the Twelveswood. The Elder Seedseer, however, has granted me special permission. He has bid me lend my magics to the people of Garlemald while learning all I can of their ways. In so doing, I will come closer to understanding myself and my place in the world, or so she says. I say it's past time our allies benefited from the power at a Seedseer's disposal. Some bemoan that we hide our light under a bushel, and I intend to address that criticism. Sickard, here's yours. I hear you've got something for us. Indeed. Them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, aren't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when this is all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. And one more thing. I know what you're all thinking. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hilford told me was they needed someone to help safeguard the future, and here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever needs doing, so let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. Maybe you can become a sky pirate. Alright, Lise. Not a set of warning scales I spy, not that I would know what they look like. There you go. Oh, look at these. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with ether. All the better to fend off the tempering waves? Is that the right term? Anyway, these will give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? And nervous or not, I'd march through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Alright, and Lucia. Warding scales for the Ishgardian delegation, I take it? Yep. Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But that is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. The future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Alright, and Maxima. You have a warding skill for me too? Yep, I do. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the cold of Ilsabard, and I cannot stress enough that this is no token warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist Guild, but understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. I leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now, let us proceed to the Alamigan Quarter. While you make your final preparations, I will have the pilots ready for airships. Yeah, there are more than a few people here who are going to need a little more clothing than what they're currently wearing, and I'm looking at you, Lise. Alright, and now we're back in the Alamigan Quarter. Since my revival, I've been lax in expanding my limited wardrobe. I think we have time for a quick trip. Back to Old Charlian. I call it rather a fetching coat. Stinian. Preparations. I've got my armor and my lance. What more could I need? Yeah, he's already basically acclimated to fighting in the cold, so he knows what he's doing. Alice? If you've anything you still need to take care of, you better see to it now. Thancred? This coat is quite warm, but I have something rather thicker for occasions like these. There's no telling how long we'll be out in the open, and we can't go starting fires willy-nilly if we want to avoid detection. Also, Eorzea, you probably want something a little heavier than that. Concoctions to fortify the flesh against wind and cold are commonly sold in the Ul'dahn markets, though they are of dubious provenance and efficacy. 'Tis said, however, that in recent days the Alchemist Guild hath produced a tincture capable of such a feat. Mayhap the achievements of their Thavnarian counterparts did spur them into action, that they not be put to shame. Y'shtola? I mean, there is some fur on there, but I'm not sure that's going to work either. It's something of a constant refrain that we require warmer clothing. My present garb may be lacking, fur color notwithstanding. Indeed. Alright, so, before we get thrown into the next bit, which I don't know... like how far that's going to go, I think what we'll do is we'll stop here. Good spot. And so for next episode, we will talk to Alphino and get moving into Garlemald. Alright, so for now, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you next time.